a place where technology meets beauty and culture, a place where nature is everywhere. That place is Korea. Korean art is originated in Korea, made by Korean artists from ancient times to today. Korea is noted for its artistic traditions in pottery, music, calligraphy, and other genres, noticed by the use of bold colors, natural forms, and surface decoration. The earliest examples of Korean art consist of Stone Age works dating from as old as 3000 BC. Korean art history is split into 7 sections, which consist of Neolithic art, Bronze Age art, Iron Age art, Three Kingdoms art, which has Goguryeo art, Baekje art, Sia art, and Kaya art, Unified Sia art, Goryeo Dynasty art, and Joseon Dynasty art. Neolithic art pottery was made from clay and fired over open or semi-open pits that went up to temperatures about 700 degrees Celsius. The earliest pottery style dated to 7000 BC were flat-bottom wares, Yeonggi-mun, and were decorated with relief designs, braced horizontal lines, and impressions. German type pottery is typically comb-bottomed and insists with a comb pattern appearing 6000 BC in the archaeological record. This type of pottery is similar to Siberian styles. Mumun type pottery was invented approximately 2000 BC and is characterized as large undecorated pottery mostly used for cooking and storage. In the Bronze Age art between 2000 BC and 300 BC, bronze items began to be imported and made in Korea. By the 7th century BC, an indigenous bronze culture was established in Korea, as shown by the Korean bronze having a unique percentage of zinc. Items manufactured during this time were weapons such as swords, daggers, and spearheads. Also, ritual items such as mirrors, bells, and rattles were made. These items were buried in dolmens with the cultural elite. Additionally, iron-rich red pots began to be created around the 6th century. Comma-shaped beads, usually made from nephrite, known as kokok, have also been found in dolmen burials. Kokok may be carved to imitate bear claws. Another Siberian influence can be seen in rock drawings of animals that display the X-ray style of Siberian art. The Iron Age began in Korea about 300 BC. Korean iron was highly valued in the Chinese commanderies and in Japan. Korean pottery advanced with the introduction of the potter's wheels and climbing kiln firing. The Three Kingdoms period began at 57 BC and ended at 668 CE. 3 Korean kingdoms, Goguryeo, Baekje, and Sia, fought for control over the peninsula. Buddhism was introduced to Goguryeo first in 372 CE because of its location spanning much of Manchuria and the northern half of Korea, closest to the northern Chinese states like the northern Wei. Buddhism inspired the Goguryeo kings to begin commission art and architecture dedicated to the Buddha. Interesting aspects of Goguryeo art are 2 murals that strongly portray everyday aspects of life in the ancient kingdom as well as its culture. UNESCO UNESCO designated the complex of Goguryeo tombs as a World Heritage Site because Goguryeo painting was influential in East Asia, including Japan, an example being the wall murals of Goryeo, which was influenced by Goguryeo. Mural painting also spread to the other two kingdoms. The mural portrayed Buddhist themes and provide important clues about the kingdom, such as as architecture and clothing. These murals were also the very beginning of Korean landscape paintings and portraiture. However, the treasures of the tombs were easily accessible and looted, leaving very little artifacts of the kingdom. Baekje is considered the kingdom with the greatest art among the three states. Baekje was a kingdom in southwest Korea and was influenced by southern Chinese dynasties such as the Liang. Baekje was also one of the kingdoms to introduce a lot of Korean influence into the art of Japan during this time period. Baekje Buddhist sculptures are characterized by its naturalness, warmness, and harmonious proportions. They show a unique Korean style. Another example of Korean influence is the use of the distinctive Baekje Smile, a mysterious and archaic smile that is a characteristic of many Baekje statues. While there are no surviving examples of wooden architecture, the Mireuska site holds the foundation stones of a destroyed temple and two surviving granite pagodas that shows that Baekje's architecture may have looked like. An example of Baekje architecture is shown from Goryeo Temple because Baekje architects and craftsmen helped design and construct the original temple. The tomb of King Mulyang held troves of artifacts not looted by grave robbers. Among the items were flame-like gold pins, gilt bronze shoes, gold girdles, a symbol of royalty, and swords with gold hilts with dragons and phoenixes. The Sia kingdom was the most isolated kingdom from the Korean peninsula because it was in the southeast part of the peninsula. The kingdom was the last to adopt Buddhism and foreign cultural influences. The Silla kingdom tombs were mostly inaccessible, and so many examples of Korean art comes from this kingdom. The Silla craftsmen were famed for their gold crafting ability, which has similarities to Etruscan and Greek techniques, as exemplified by gold earrings and crowns. Because of Silla gold artifacts bearing similarities to European techniques, along with glass and beads depicting blue-eyed people found in royal tombs, many believe that the Silk Road went all the way to Korea. Most notable objects of Silla art are its gold crowns that are made from pure gold and have tree and antler-like adornments that suggest a Scythe, Siberian, and Korean shamanistic tradition. The Gaya Confederacy was a group of city-states that did not associate into a centralized kingdom. It shared many similarities in its arts, such as crowns with tree-like proportions, which are seen in Baekje and Silla. Many of the artifacts unearthed in Gaya Tumuli are artifacts related to horses, such as stirrups, saddles, and horse armor. Unified Silla was a great time of great artistic output in Korea, especially in Buddhist art. Examples include the Seokuram Grotto and the Bulguksa Temple. Two pagodas on the ground, the Seokatap and Tabotap, are also unique examples of Silla masonry and artistry. Craftsmen also created massive temple bells, reliquaries, and statues. The capital city of Unified Silla was nicknamed the City of Gold because of use of gold in many objects of art. The Goryeo dynasty lasted from 918 CE to 1392. The most famous art produced by Goryeo artisans was Korean celadon pottery, which was produced from 1050 CE to 1250 CE. While Celadon originated in China, Korean potters created their own unique style of pottery that was so valued that the Chinese considered first under heaven, and one of the 12 best things in the world. The Korean Celadon had a unique glaze known as kingfisher color, an iron-based blue-green glaze created by reducing oxygen in the cane. Korean Celadon produced organic shapes and free-flowing styles, such as pieces that were made to look like fish, melons, and other animals. Koreans invented an inlay technique known as Sanggam, where potters would engrave semi-dried pottery with designs and place materials within the decorations with black or white clay. The influence of Confucianism superseded that of Buddhism in this period. However, Buddhist elements remained, and it is not true that Buddhist art declined. It continued and was encouraged, but not by the imperial centers of art or the accepted taste of Joseon dynasty publicly, but in private homes and indeed the summer palaces of the Joseon dynasty kings. The simplicity of Buddhist art was given great appreciation, but it was not seen as scientific art. While the Joseon dynasty began under military auspices, Goryeo styles were led to evolve, and Buddhist iconography, bamboo, orchid, plum, and chrysanthemum, and the familiar knotted good luck symbols were still a part of genre paintings. Neither colors nor forms had any real change, and rulers stood aside from edicts on art. Ming ideals and imported techniques continued in early dynasty idealized work. Mid-dynasty painting styles moved towards increased realism. A national painting style of landscapes called True View began, moving from the traditional Chinese style of idealized general landscapes to particular locations exactly rendered. While not photographic, the style was academic enough to become established and supported as a standardized style in Korean painting. The mid to late Joseon dynasty is considered the golden age of Korean painting. It coincides with the shock of the collapse of Ming dynasty links with the Manchu emperor's ascension in China, and the forcing of Korean artists to build new artistic models based on nationalism and an inner search for particular Korean subjects. At this time, China ceased to have preeminent influence. Korean art took its own course and became increasingly distinctive. Korea has many visual arts and is known for beautiful paintings and sculptures. Korean visual arts are calligraphy, printing, painting, photography, cinema, ceramics, sculptures, architecture, interior design, performing arts, tea ceremonies, musical arts, theater, storytelling, comedy, dance, literature, and pottery. Korean art has evolved a lot over the centuries. Modern Korean art has been mainly based on music. The most popular type of music is K-pop. In K-pop, the typical instruments are vocals, rapping, drum pad, drums, electric bass, keyboards, piano, sampler, sequencer, synthesizer, vocoder, and sometimes other instruments. The era between 1920s to 1950s was called the birth of trot and introduction of Western music. In the mid-1920s, Masao Goga, a Korean-Japanese composer, mixed traditional Korean music with gospel music that American evangelists brought with and have taught since the 1870s. This type of music became known as enka in Japan and later in Korea as trot. The 1990s was a turning point for popular music in Korea, incorporating rap, rock, and techno. This era is called diversification. Also in this era, hip-hop and R&B music emerged in Korea. The 2000s is known as popularity in Asia and globalization. By 2011, K-pop has become the mainstream genre Southeast, East and Southeast Asia, including Japan, Malaysia, Mongolia, the Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, Taiwan, Singapore, China, and Vietnam. K-pop is steadily gaining influence in foreign markets outside of Asia. However, most notably in the United States, Canada, and Australia. So in total, Korean art has been changed and has been evolved a lot. It has become famous and important to the world.